Psychologists of Reddit, what is something you want to, but never would say to a patient?
As a child. Family therapist. You're the parent. This is not your kid having a mental illness. This is a kid trying to cope with really bad circumstances that you, as a parent, should have addressed years ago. That job gave me a lot more empathy with kids. Hadn't planned on working with them going through grad school, and a lot less with parents. My parents' way of dealing with me having problems was a combination of telling me to suck it up, blaming whatever was happening on something I had done or was doing, and telling me that I was blowing things out of proportion. I've had my dad tell me that I didn't get sexually abused as a child because they wouldn't let something like that happen. When I was having neurological problems, it was because I was playing video games. At 24, my precancerous polyps in my intestines were because I didn't eat right. People live in their own little worlds, where bad things only happen to other people. And if something bad does happen, they're very quick to assign the blame to someone else so that it can't be pinned on them. R/raised by narcissists. The first therapist I ever saw as a kid, I was maybe 8-10, basically told my parents that my mom was the problem. They immediately took me out of therapy. Plot twist. I spent the next 20 years in and out of therapy. She was right, but it didn't get me a new mom, so now I have even more problems. To a lot of parents of my patients, you are the problem, not your kids. Stop trying to live their lives for them. And to the religious one, every teenager wonders about sex, you backwards dumb fuck, no one has corrupted them. Sometimes, when I see children raised by parents that are so fucking ignorant that they think that they know what is best for their children, but don't know that they weren't raised well, and didn't realize it, so they don't know better, I feel bad for them. Such a waste of clean minds. And if those children are not smart enough, they will do the same thing to their children, creating an infinite loophole. Holy fucking shit, this. I keep arguing with my father that he was absolutely wrong to slam the alarm clock on my head at 7 years old when he was teaching me to tell the time. And I kept failing. His argument is that I haven't seen a real beating like he had when he was young, that is being chased with a knife and bitten with leather belts. I should be grateful he only hit me softly with the clock. Regardless that it actually broke and the batteries went flying. Jesus fucking Christ, why do I try to explain it to him? I once had a guy come in because he was cheating on his wife, but didn't want to leave because of their kids. The guy was adamant that he wanted to have therapy, either with his mistress or his wife, and couldn't decide with which one he was going to stay. He decided to bring in the wife, and I had to sit there listening to him deny the cheating, and project his guilt into his wife, telling her that she was the one cheating. Obviously I couldn't tell the wife the truth, but if I could I would have told her, he's cheating on you. You're not insane. Get the fuck out. Edit. I told him several times to not bring neither his wife or mistress. He did it anyway, and I had to do the session. Because he had already paid, and the policy of the place I worked at was that if a patient had paid we couldn't refuse treatment. After that session I referred him to one of my partners. He was able to work through some of the issues as a couple. And individually with the guy, he did choose the wife in the end. I would feel so disgusting if someone trapped me into enabling their cheating on their spouse like that. I hope your tongue is still intact after biting it so hard. My policy is that I never hold secrets. I tell them if they tell me a secret. They know this policy, and they really want to discuss it. I set the stage for the discussion. I just don't throw it out there. But yes, we do go there. My confidentiality duty is to the couple, not the person. I make that crystal clear. You're a grown man. Stop making your problems your mother's problems. She's got good intentions, but she's enabling all your worst behaviors and addictions. And you know that you're taking advantage of that. To the mom. There's no medal for loving your son the most. You are an enabler. You acknowledged this, which is a good first step. But if it does not change your behavior towards him, it's meaningless. Stop making excuses for him. Stop letting him take advantage of you. Because if you don't, the rest of your family has stated that they are going to limit contact with you. You're risking relationships with every other person in your life for an exploitative, codependent one with your son. I think it's kind of your duty as a therapist to say these things. It sucks and it's hurtful, but if it's true it needs to be said. My wife's ex-husband is a textbook covert narcissist. Step for step. By the DSM-5. And I had to have a very similar conversation with her and her ex because even 10 years after their divorce she still was playing the same role as the mom in your story. Almost exact. And I, student turned computer technician, had to tell them both almost exactly what you have outlined here. It's a complicated situation. For legal reasons. And I've said a version of this to both of them. A bit less bluntly. Right now it's not clear if I'll continue to work with them or not. Your kid is shitty because you are shitty. As a residential child and youth worker, I wish I could say this to 90% of my clients. Spoil your kids. You'll raise your grandkids. Raise your kids. You'll spoil your grandkids. This is so fucking true, I'm impressed. Thank you for talking to me. Having to care about you makes me forget my own shit for a moment. This is something you wish you could say to a patient? I hope my therapist thinks. Thank you for talking to me. I always worry she wishes I'd shut the fuck up. Few years ago I went through a divorce, and even though things went rather peacefully, it's still a lot to process. For that period of time, it was really nice to be able to focus on someone else and forget about my troubles for a moment. You obviously don't open up about your personal life with your clients. I wish I could have been able to tell them that I was happy to see them. That they brought me peace and stability. During couples sessions, he is a toxic ass. And you need to let go of this relationship. I don't do couples anymore. I've found it exceedingly difficult for me to not take a side. Edit. During the first session, the couples worked with me to establish a treatment plan, which included specific goals. Has typically included things like balancing home responsibilities, improved communication skills, seeking sexual compatibility, etc. I do not recall a time where they included in their treatment plan anything along the lines of figuring out if we should stay together. As such, it was outside my professional scope to advise them to separate. While I still practice, I'll never again work with couples. My father was hospitalized after a suicide attempt. His doc met my mom and then sat down with my dad. Doc, I met your wife. Dad. Yeah. Doc, I can't tell you to divorce your wife. Dad. Okay. Dad. Oh. That doc was skating right on the line there. Wow. I hope your dad is doing well these days.
What up, my brain cells? Aren't you so glad you sat through another 10 minutes of low-effort content? Ha! 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 I am so funny. I am definitely not unhappy with my life. Subscribe and get 100 yandere anime waifus in the afterlife, or don't and be stuck watching T-series. Your choice, gamer.